Do you remember when the first Fast and the Furious movie came out? Some of you might not, but I do. I don't remember how many times I went to the movie theater to watch it, but I do remember when it came out on DVD. I bought that thing as soon as I could, and I watched it every day for months on end. As somebody who was in high school and already a pretty big car guy, I absolutely loved the movie. It had a little bit of something for everybody in a way. It had imports, which were kind of becoming a thing where I was at. It had muscle cars, new cars, old cars. But the thing was, it was all about the cars. Action, pretty girls, cars. What's not to like, right? So, this new Fast and the Furious set from Hot Wheels kind of hopes to capitalize on that and recreate some of that magic. I know. A lot of you are thinking, another Fast and the Furious set from Hot Wheels. But, I was watching an interview with Ludacris the other day, and he said, people ask him all the time, why do you keep making those movies? And the short answer is that they keep making money. And with Hot Wheels, it's the same way. They keep making these because they keep making money. So, does this set live up to the hype? Does it do what it's intended to do? Or is it just another watered down cash grab? Let's go ahead and pop this thing open and find out. So, if you've been around the Hot Wheels game for a while, you will know that most of these, actually I think all of these, are re-releases. So, it has been a while since some of these have been out, and as far as at least the Jetta goes, I know it can be kind of hard to get a hold of depending on how much money you want to spend. So it's kind of nice to have all these in one set together, and it's kind of not your typical set, I guess, in that I call this the Tuna Crew. This is from the famous Nobody Likes the Tuna Here scene in the movie. It's kind of where you're introduced to the whole crew for the first time and see all their cars. So, set up the scene here for you. We have Brian pulling in his Ford F-150 Lightning, right? Going to get him some tuna. And then you have all these other cars start to pull in. You have Letty's S14, Leon's R33, Vince's Maxima, and then Jessie's infamous Jetta. So, let's go ahead and take a look at each of these cars up close. See how they look. Some of you may have seen these before. As I said, these are re-releases, but it's a good set to have all together, especially if you weren't able to pick up some of these older ones. I know the Maxima's a little bit newer, but, even some people had a hard time getting a hold of that. So let's start out with the Ford F-150 Lightning. This is, of course, Brian's truck that he drives when he's slinging parts for Harry for his quote-unquote job in the movie. But this is a casting we've had several times throughout the years for Hot Wheels in premium and in main lines. Overall, not a bad looking casting. Pretty good representation of the actual vehicle. They did a nice job with the tampos on the headlights and the fog lamps here. On the side, we'll go ahead and zoom in. Racer's Edge information. You can clearly see the address and the phone number here, so that looks pretty good. I will say probably the weak point of this casting, at least this example, is the wheels. I think a larger 5-spoke would just suit it better. Can't remember exactly what they used in the movie, but these look more like something that would go on a muscle car or like an older truck. They don't really fit the casting, I think. And I think most of the other castings that we've had with this has had different wheels. So, decent looking red paint. Of course, on the rear end, you have the taillights. It's hard to get taillights not to blend in with red painted vehicles. These look maybe just a little bit cartoony, but overall not bad. And I think they did a good job not blending in with the paint. Kind of rounds it out with the SVT and the Ford badging here. Overall, not a bad truck. Only other thing I'll point out is we have the exhaust detail here coming out, which is accurate for the vehicle as well. So, pretty nice casting overall. If you've not been able to pick that up yet, be a good chance to do that. Jessie's Jetta, Volkswagen Jetta. Really nice, kind of an infamous car from the movie. This has kind of been a hard casting to get a hold of. Really great job on the front end here. Super detailed. You can see the silver here. All the fog lamps, the headlights, everything is in place. Looks great. Definitely pops against this white car. A lot of details on this one, I'll have to say. Have a little bit of sponsorship branding here. The decal on the side is pretty movie accurate as far as I can tell. Normally, I'm not a fan of these wheels, but I don't know that you could do anything better for this car. And it looks fine here. It's just a pretty known thing. I'm not a big fan of those wheels. Rear end looks good. Taillights, something I was noticing earlier is this dark part on the top part of the taillights. I don't remember that from the movie or the other cars. I don't know if that's where they kind of had like a shade over it just to kind of cut it up, or what the deal is with that. To be quite honest with you, I've been around a lot of Jettas. I've not checked them out that closely. To me, that's just something I've not noticed before, so I just wanted to point it out. Overall, interiors on most of these are pretty simple, and I'll say at least this one does have a roll cage, which, kind of adds to it. I'm trying to think. I guess they made this casting just for the movie. One thing I didn't talk about earlier, but I was thinking about as I was doing this video in the first Fast and Furious film. After that, every car you've seen for a while, it seemed like everybody was trying to put neons under the car, and it had a wing on it, whether it was something that it looked good on or not. And of course, most cars don't really need that anyway, but just kind of to give the look and vibe of the film. Vince's Maxima, of course, this is a pretty new casting. We just had it released earlier this year, I believe. Some people don't like the proportions on this. To me, it does kind of look, something does look a little bit off about it if you really look super closely at it, but overall, I think it's a decent casting. Almost looks like it's been chopped or something, but I think it's just because they were trying to give it that low stance, and then these big wheels kind of just, something about it. I don't know that it's off as much as it just looks like it's off, but still glad to have it. It's one that we've been kind of missing from the 4A for a while. Did a really good job with this front end, though, I think, and all the tempos here. Just the design in general looks really good. And again, some of this stuff can kind of blend in, especially with like this dark blue, or even like on the Jetta, the white. So they do a good job of not making it kind of wash out. Decal on the side looks really good. I just enjoy this one. My kid really likes this one too. Again, a little bit of sponsorship branding. Overall, to be honest with you, it's a pretty simple casting, but I think they did a good job with it. Paint looks pretty good. Decal on the side looks good, which, for most people, that's kind of what you're looking for, is this side profile. So, taillights, about the only thing on the rear end, but they look really good here. I think, overall, like I said, a good job. I guess, as I'm looking at this, one thing I'm noticing is you would think they would do bigger exhaust on all of these, but I guess that leaves it open for them to do other things with the castings. Leon's R33, I'm kind of surprised this isn't more of a hot commodity, to be honest with you. Yellow Nissan GTR R33, and talk about giant exhaust tips. Forgot this had it, but man, that thing's super huge. Now I just need to take a paint pen and paint it silver and black now that I've noticed it, right? Overall, pretty decent casting here. This decal on the side looks pretty good on this. Seems like it may be missing a little something, but I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at that as well. Wheels, I don't know. I'm not super crazy about these wheels on this car. I don't even remember what they looked like in the movie, to be truthful, but yeah, I kind of think that's probably not it. I could be wrong, though. I could be completely wrong. I just think they could have stuck a better wheel on that. You can see we have a nice metal flake in this yellow paint, kind of like we had on that Porsche in the recent Boulevard set, so that's really nice. Again, great detail on the front end here. Something about this part of the front end, like the middle part, just looks a little odd to me. I don't know if it's the car itself, if I'm just used to seeing like the R34s and just thinking it should be a little more like squared off or something, but something about the front end of this car just looks a little off to me. I'm probably wrong. It probably just seems that way to me, but even with that, I still think it looks really nice. They did a good job. All the grills, the headlight details and everything on all of these vehicles, they've done really well. And not much to say on the other side here, pretty much the same as the other. Rear end has a lot of details on this one. You have some stickers, of course, those iconic Nissan Skyline taillights, and the Grady sponsorship. California license plate. Interesting that this is kind of the only one that has that. I don't think any of the other ones have a license plate on them. So, either way, really good casting. Not crazy about the wheels, but other than that, really good pickup. And, they're not a deal breaker. They look okay. I just think they could have done something much better. They have options. Use them, And the last one of the set is Letty's S14. Oh, this one has a license plate too, so there you go. Really good looking version of this car. I have to say, sometimes this one looks better on camera than it does in person to me. Wheels on this, again, not one I normally like, but I think it looks okay here in the chromed out against this color. Not a bad choice. So decal looks really nice on this one as well. Super clean looking car. You know, I'm like a casual fan of the S14 and the S15s, but they did a really great job with this one. I think it looks awesome. Really good job with the headlights there. Once again, front end, as we said before. Interior, simple, once again. Just a really clean looking car. And taillights, I mean, I don't think that's perfect. Couldn't do any better. Doesn't blend in with the car, which I know it's a little bit darker red, but that right there, like if you film that the right way, you just assume that's pretty much a real Nissan S14. That's awesome. Another big exhaust tip on this one. Looks a lot better because it's black. You know, maybe if they had done a black base on the R33, that would have looked a little bit better as well. But really good looking casting there. So overall, really nice cast of cars here. So what do we say about this? Is this another cash grab? I mean, yeah, in some form or fashion it is. Does it do the job that it looks like it was set out to do as far as giving you a nice selection from the first Fast and the Furious film? Yeah, I think so. You know, I've had a lot of these Fast and Furious cars from Hot Wheels over the years, and I think as far as sets goes, this is probably one of the most complete sets because, you know, the only one I think people might have an issue with is maybe the F-150 just because, you know, it's not JDM. Or maybe the Maxima, just because it's a newer casting. But those are just kind of minor issues. Overall, I think the selection of vehicles is really nice. And to me, I mean, I was happy to pick it up. Now, I've already got all of these, so I don't know if I'm going to keep this or not. But if you don't have any of these castings, I think it's a definite pickup if you can get it for a decent price. So if you enjoyed this unboxing, be sure to check out this other video YouTube thinks you'll like right here. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our other videos. We appreciate you watching. Hope you're having a good week. Happy hunting, y'all.